gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye. And when Santa squeezes his fat white ass down that chimney tonight, he's gonna find the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
Hello and welcome out to this episode of Outbreak Gamers. I'm your host, David Anthony, WEBDAVE, whatever you want to call me. Santa Claus, maybe. I don't know. Kind of jolly and round and all that. And I'm here with Sourblow. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? It's going all right. It's been a pretty weird day for me.
Okay.
I almost got an accident twice, and then I had a little bit of pain in my stomach when I got home, but I'm all good now.
Okay. It wasn't butterflies for being on the show. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just teasing, man. I know you're no pro. So dude, thank you so much for making time to get on here. I know it's right around the holidays, as everybody can see from the background at this time when we're recording this. So, like I said, I know it's family and all kinds of gaming and stuff going on. So, appreciate you very much for making some time to come on the podcast because I know there's a lot of people that like to know more about some of the great content that you guys put out there at Xbox International, and I think it's really a great show, great program, great staff, great guests you guys have on. You always topical, and then you have the crazy one on there, but you have to rein everybody. You have to rein him in.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just kidding. Love you, Crazy Lou, but yeah. So Sarah Blow, let's get into it. Let's talk about maybe some of the jobs or maybe some of your education or something like that. So tell us a little more about you.
Oh man, I've been all over the place, but let
Me
me see if
too.
I can sum it up a little bit.
Perfect.
So I'm from New Jersey. I was originally born in New Jersey. My parents are from Dominican Republic. So I can say I started my education in New Jersey until I was like 17, around that time. And around that time, my dad told me to get a job because he wanted me to get some money to take to Dominican Republic. So I started working with a friend of his, which was in a company with fridge. We will clean up the fridge and fix them up, and basically he will sell them. And I would just help basically with the cleaning and sometimes, to carry things around.
Hmm.
Uh, Eventually, I left after the month because he wasn't really paying me money. He just wanted to pay me whatever because I was his dad friend.
Right.
Yeah, my dad was his friend. So I left, and then I started working in a taxi company, picking up phone calls.
Cool.
Um, and yeah, I worked there like for a few months until I left to Dominican Republic. And then I studied there my last year of high school, and then pretty much around 3 to 4 years of college, which I was studying architecture.
Nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, family happened, and
Sure.
I had to stop college, and I started working on some call centers over there in the Dominican Republic. And there I worked on one call center for about 3 years, which I have a lot of stories about the call centers. Call centers are really crazy there.
Oh man, I can imagine.
Oh yeah. And after that, I guess I worked in a few more call centers until I decided to come back. And when I came back, got married, I had a kid, and I started working for a place called Micro Center,
Nice.
which yeah, I guess it's a great place for customers. I don't know if you ever been to a Micro Center. They sell a lot of electronics, PC
Hmm.
parts,
Hmm.
console a great place. I truly recommend it for customers. They have pretty good prices, pretty good deals. But for I'm sorry, for work,
Right.
I kind of don't recommend it because of the way they have everything staged. With like, you have to um kind of like sell certain amount. Like, you have to hustle for like stickers. If you don't hustle enough, you
Mhm.
don't make enough money. But then they also want you to do different stuff. Like, I had to go early in the morning, do some extra work like stacking, taking things out of the bin, fixing everything, and then they don't want you to leave home until everything is organized. And it's
Wow.
like, the way that they had it structured, I don't know. I didn't like that, so I eventually
Wasn't
left
very
that.
worker friendly, huh?
Yeah, not I don't think it was very workly friendly, but but yeah, and then after that, um, I I met on, I think it was like in Thanksgiving. I have already met him, but I kind of met him again. My current boss,
Mhm.
which he was looking for a drafter for land surveying, and
Nice.
yeah, and since he knew that I study architecture in the Dominican Republic,
Yeah.
and he was looking for one. He kind of offered me the job. I showed him some of my work, and here I am now.
That's fantastic. So it paid off in the long run to
Yeah.
get to something, that's great, man. That's great to hear. That's awesome. So was it kind of a, I guess, you're in the States and then to go to the Dominican Republic, is that for I guess you said for some of your schooling, is that like a culture shock to you, or did it just flow right in, or was it like, whoa, this is so different? Because
Well,
I don't know, so curious.
oh yeah, definitely. To be honest,
Mm.
this was my dad's big idea
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't want me to go through college here because of how much you got to pay for tuition and all that. It was too
Oh
much
yeah.
money. Which, now that I'm a fully adult, I understand why he did it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it was the best decision because when I went to Dominican Republic, even though I knew how to speak
Mm-hmm.
and communicate well Spanish, but I have studied basically my whole life in English, and
Right.
all the classes were all in English. So even like math, that I was very good at math, when they would give me the problems, I would be a little bit lost because I'm like, I don't really understand fully what
Right.
they're really like, giving me. So I had to like do some extra research, and it took me a while to actually like catch up. So it was pretty hard for me.
Well, I could see that. I mean, like you said, it's different. It's totally different. And then even if if you haven't grown up there, and the language barrier, so yeah,
Yeah.
even if if you're not fluent in it, that's got to be a big difference. I mean,
Oh
it's
yes.
they'll probably look at you like gringo, like no, wait.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, I get it, I get it. That's but dude, I mean, I guess in the long run, you're at a really good place now. So probably maybe not maybe the best way to get to where you're at
Yeah.
now, but hey, you're there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
I don't regret it because
right.
I even met my wife there, which
Oh, winner.
so so yeah, I guess things happen for a reason.
Right, right. That's kind of the best way to look at it. Sometimes you just gotta, can you imagine what happens if you didn't meet her? You know what I mean? Wow.
Yeah.
So, win-win. What a quick story for me is that like I found the love of my life, and then she found somebody else, and and I was devastated. I thought, oh no, this is there, but then I was lucky enough that a few years later I met the woman I'm married to now, and I can't imagine life being any better than it is with I would be lost without her. I'll tell you that. So things do happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can't see it at the time because at the time I
Yeah.
was like, "Ooh," now I'm like, "Ha, see ya." But yeah, so oh, no, so mean. I'm sorry,
And
but
I have 10 years already, so
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I'm coming up on
Oh wow.
27. Yeah. Ooh, I'm an
Oh,
old
the
guy.
30 is coming. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she gets a merit badge, I'm sure, for putting up with me. Oh goodness. Well, let's kind of switch things up a little bit to talk about I guess what was your first experience with gaming? Was it like console, PC, arcades? What got you into gaming?
What
Like
got
your
me.
hat, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Actually, this was the first experience with gaming. I
Nice.
went to a cousin house, and he had the NES, and I was blown away by it. Like I wanted to have it. Unfortunately, my parents at that time, they weren't in position to buy one, or they also didn't want to buy waste money on that because since they're Dominican Republic, also they still have that culture where they still tell me like, "Why do you play video games? Like that's for kids," and they have that mentality. But when I was a kid, they never really got me one, so I don't get it anyway. But but yeah, when I saw that NES and I saw them playing, I think they were playing Mario and they were playing the game. I think it's also like a Mario game, the one with the dog and the gun.
Yeah,
And
Duck Hunt.
yeah, Duck Hunt. Yeah,
Yeah, it was great.
that was great, and I was basically just blown away with that, and I wanted to have it, but um, I got to own one like a few years after that experience, but then right after that I got a SNES, SNES,
Hmm.
and between that and I would say the N64, those were probably the years I gained the most until maybe now.
Right. Yeah, so you kind of took a little break, maybe. I guess probably with the schooling and everything. Sometimes it's not,
Yeah,
Yeah,
during school, yeah, I took a break there.
yeah. I understand that for sure, for sure. But now I guess you we talked about it right before in the green room that Sourblow18. That's your gamer tag, right?
Yes.
So what Xbox got you to start your gamer tag? What level, what game system were you on? What Xbox were you on for that?
Well, I'm actually recent in the Xbox ecosystem.
Nice,
I actually got into Game Pass on PC because
very good.
yeah, a buddy of mine hit me up that he wanted to play Sea of Thieves with me, and when I saw Sea of Thieves, I looked at it. I'm like, it looks interesting in a way, but at the same time, I don't really want to spend $60 for that game.
Hmm.
But he had like a long time telling me about Game Pass this, Game Pass that, and it's on PC. So I was like, it's $1 for a month or so, or I don't know. I think it was just 1 month. So I
Hmm.
was like, might as well just try it, and if I
Sure.
don't like it, then just leave it. So I tried it. I got hooked into Sea of Thieves. I started playing it a lot. Like I got a lot of hours into Sea of Thieves, and while I would play Sea of Thief, I also started jumping into, of course, other games I saw in the Game Pass,
Hmm.
and then I started seeing that there were more games that I was kind of missing out because they would only release on console.
Mm.
And at the same time, I started looking more into the Xbox ecosystem because they kept telling me, this game sucked, this game is bad, this game, and I started trying it for myself. A lot of these games like Rise 2, Quantum Break, and I actually was liking the game. I was enjoying them a lot, so I was like, maybe they're not as bad as people was telling me they were. And I kept getting hooked into the ecosystem, and then some of my friends, well, as I started like going more in the ecosystem, I started getting more friends that had Xbox, and then it got to a point where my friends from PC were kind of no longer playing Sea of Thief. So I have more friends on the Xbox ecosystem playing Sea of Thieves, and then they started telling me, "We don't want to play with you anymore because those PC gamers, they're broken. I don't know. That's too much. You got to buy a console." So they kind of
That's
pushed me
funny.
into getting Xbox. I got an Xbox One S, basically at the end of the generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say as soon as I saw that Hellblade 2 trailer in the Game Award,
Mm-hmm.
that immediately got me hyped for the next generation, and I got a Series S too
Nice.
as soon as I saw it. So yeah,
That's
that was,
awesome.
that's how I got into the Xbox ecosystem.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, I mean, that's good. Like I said, I asked you when I said, so what's the 18? And you said, well, it's the gamer tag name I got.
Yeah,
And and it really makes sense that you use the 18 in your because now people can find you easily on on the Xbox, and
yeah.
now that now that's your trademark. That's your people know you by that name because it's not just something that's like cookie cutter plain. So, and I like that. That's cool. Defines you, as it were. So, so from there, I guess, how did you get into, woo, crazy Lou? How did you get into to doing the podcasting? How did that start off? Have you something you always wanted to do, or how long have you been festering the idea of being on a podcast?
Well, as I started getting into, well, I gotta say before I started the gaming podcast, I actually had a podcast with two friends of mine,
Hmm.
which was a sports centric podcast in Spanish.
Cool.
And yeah, I love sports. So we that's how I kind of started. And eventually, unfortunately, they had other stuff going on. They had trips and all that, and it got to a point where we couldn't continue. But at that same time that I kind of broke up, we broke it up because we couldn't continue.
Hmm.
um I started getting more into gaming, and I started seeing that you know more people were kind of podcasting. And then I met Crazy Lou, which I met him in a uh WhatsApp group,
Hmm.
just talking gaming and stuff. And that's how I met him, and we kind of connected there. And then he kind of told, I think, I don't know if he told me or I heard or I reached out to him, but the point was that we connected and we
Hmm.
decided to make a Spanish podcast to talk gaming in Spanish. And the point of that was like, because I the Spanish community isn't as big, I would say, as the English speaking
Hmm.
community in terms of podcasts. And we also we still want it, but it's been hard keeping two podcasts. That's why we kind of stopped the Spanish one.
Right.
But we kind of want to help gaming rise, especially in the Dominican Republic,
Of
where
course.
it's not as big. And it's something I always dreamed of. So that's how we started. Eventually it got to a point where we started Xbox International, and we kind of had to decide one of them have to go. So since you know, I guess since there was more people involved in Xbox International, that's why we went with that.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, and it doesn't mean that you have to abandon that concept forever. You
No,
know, uh,
exactly,
and
exactly.
even if you maybe did like a monthly show or something dedicated to the, you know what I mean, to where it's not so taxing on necessarily your podcasting. Here I'm throwing spitballing ideas at you,
Oh
putting
yeah,
giving you more
no,
work,
no,
but
thanks.
but but like you said, I mean, it is a unique um, concept, being able to to reach the community, uh, you know, that speaks in the Spanish language and can relate, to the gaming community there. I think it's great. Um, you know, like I said, just you just tell Lou that Dave said. I'm just kidding. And after he gets done laughing, I'm just kidding.
Oh
No,
man.
but I mean, that's I think it's great that you guys started that way, and I'm glad that you do the international, podcast, as it were, and I guess you still have the ties to the international, which is the Dominican Republic, and then I believe you have your newest member is Canadian, so that's kind of
Yes.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love Tony. Tony's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So I guess all right. So after you started doing you decided on just the Xbox International. How did that? I guess how did you guys at build to that community? I mean, especially when you've got the Big Plume in there as well too. So how did that grow and how did you, I guess, define your format that you guys do now?
Well, we actually, it's funny because our last episode this Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
was actually our last episode of the year,
Right.
and I decided to do like a full recap of the full whole year, which took me forever, but
All bad.
it was fun. But
Nice.
I kind of got all the highlights and I conglomerated, and then we did like kind of commentary on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
But initially, I think it was crazy idea to start a podcast also in English, to kind of like the I guess the idea was to get involved with the English community, since most developers speaks English, etc., and to try to like find a bridge or connection. Which I get it was I guess no, it was an awesome idea because we met many developers too, like Elaine, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
and that really kind of helped us. And we met Mr. John Dark, we met Silent Cipher, and we began. And I guess at the beginning, since even though I did some podcasting and I did a little bit with Crazy in the gaming, we weren't as experienced. So we were just pitching idea, doing different things. For example, the first 4 episodes, we each took turn to host to see like, you know, what we would do, and we kept on bringing ideas, evolving. Eventually we
Sure.
got to a point where we kind of like were content. um we did always have the idea of the international, Xbox International, because of the name, and it was then we kept on theming it around like flight, since international, and
Mm-hmm.
you know our podcast is, it's heavily themed around that, to make you feel like you're on a flight with us.
Nice.
We got Silent Cipher. He does a whole in-flight announcement, and
That's cool.
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. It's unique, and it's nice to have a theme that kind of runs through it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you guys I mean I know you guys due to work and stuff because he got kind of busy. Mr. Joanna Dark kind of had to take a step back a little
Yes.
bit, but I believe he's still around for when you guys, yeah, if you really need a pinch hitter, he's probably where you could reach out to him and pull him back in occasionally. I'm sure.
Yeah, I
So
mean, we wish we can pull him back in, full. Unfortunately, because of his job,
right.
he can't. But it was I guess it was hard when he told us the news. We kind of at that time he was actually kind of like the full host.
Hmm.
So at that moment, we even said it on the previous episode. That was like around, I would say, like episode 14 or so,
Hmm.
and we were kind of panicking. We had it was at the same time that we had Miles Dompierre, which for us it was a pretty big guess at that time.
Yeah.
So we were pretty nervous. We kind of we felt, at least, Plume told us that he didn't feel at that time. Plume was just a fan, but he said
Hmm.
everything looked fine for him. But we felt that we were kind of like panicking, and then things weren't as fluent as we wanted it to. But
Right.
um, I guess we managed to get better, and we got to a point where we felt more comfortable.
Yeah, well, I definitely think you guys have a good rhythm going now, and then with the addition of Plume, like I said,
Yes.
as a fan, I've interviewed him before as well too. He's great, man. I love his aggregate site. Every weekday morning, 7 a.m. his videos pop up and I'll watch them. So, he's got a fan of me too. So I get it. And he's a good balance. And he helps with the international team too.
Yeah,
Being a good Canadian boy, right? There you go.
yeah. I always tell him, I don't know how you do it, but like
Yeah.
how you post so many videos, like it's insane because it does take a lot of work
Oh,
doing this.
definitely. But like I said, I'm glad he's a part of your show too because I think he just makes you guys even that much better. Even though you guys were great, I think so.
Yeah,
It's
most
always good to
definitely.
have
Yes.
more voices and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. Well, dude, that's awesome. I'm gonna put the links in the description below. For everybody to to click on the YouTube channel and make sure that you definitely subscribe and you also hit the little bell icon so you don't miss a single episode. And if you do miss an episode, hey, they're right there. You can just watch them when you get a chance to because that's great. So it's like I said, you guys have a really good take on gaming, and I enjoy listening to your podcast, enjoy watching it. And so let's talk about some of the, I guess your, I don't want to pin you down too much, but I'm kind of curious as to what do you think about the current state of gaming right now? Because it seems like you know we're in a flux. We want to get this ABK deal
Oh yeah.
done, but so what do you think? What do you think gaming is right now for you, and how do you think it's going to go?
Well, right now it feels like gaming is like in a halt, like it's stopped because the whole ABK deal.
Hmm.
Sony want to make themselves look weak. So does Microsoft. So we have a big battle of who looks weaker to the CMS and to the FTC.
Hmm.
But I think Microsoft has a good game plan towards the future.
Hmm.
But the problem also at the same time with them is that I feel like I wouldn't count myself because I haven't been a fan for the beginning, but
Well.
I feel for the fans that have been waiting from the beginning. I feel that Microsoft has always been like they had their moments where they're like this close to really competing with PlayStation and being on par,
Hmm.
and then they always kind of screw it, and then they have to go back and they have to organize themselves and rebuild
Hmm.
themselves, and then they always kind of like re-screw again. And it's like, for example, 2021 I felt like was a great year for them,
Hmm.
and everyone was like, oh wow, 2022, that's going to be the year that they're really going to deliver. And then we have this year, and it kind of, I feel bad for a lot of the fans, but in a way, maybe this all this trajectory has been, it might be the best for us because we also don't
Hmm.
want a Microsoft to be the almighty all on top, because we do know that they're like a multi-trillion company, and we
Hmm.
also don't want them to be too on top, because
Right.
if they would have remained on top last generation, if it would have been inverted, I don't think we would have had Game Pass, and I don't think we would have had so much value that we have right now. So
I agree with that for sure. Yeah, it's definitely seems like one step forward, two steps back, kind of kind
yeah,
of little dance step, and they have done. And some people say why weren't they at the at the game awards as much as they were. And there's of course a lot of rumors that there's possibly a show in the works, a special Xbox centric type show program or something in January or February.
I think now they have to, especially because of
Right.
Aaron Greenbird's comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
kind of like, if you didn't have anything coming, then you should have not mentioned anything.
Yeah. And usually when like the game awards in the past, if or any awards or any events, Aaron seems to be the one that's like, hey, quell your expectations,
Yes.
Yeah, but he didn't do that this year. And then then everybody's expectations were like, "Hello,
Yeah,
hello, is anybody home?" So yeah, it seemed kind of it definitely seemed like there was some missed opportunities, but hopefully in a month or so we'll find out why. Maybe maybe there's some reasons for that. Maybe they have such a good lineup coming up that they want to talk about that they didn't want to overshadow the Keeleys coming up. So, or the Keeley Awards that we just got through, the Game Awards. So
I also think real quick to add
of
to that,
course.
something that we actually mentioned in a recent episode is
Hmm.
that something I personally don't like that I seen is that Xbox tends to give a lot of their content to creators or companies that we know that are heavily not invested in the Xbox ecosystem.
Hmm.
And I think we can safely say that Jeff Keighley isn't the biggest fan of the Xbox ecosystem. I wouldn't say he completely hates them, but he's more of a fan towards the competition. And I kind of like that, if they do have something coming, that they kind of don't provide it, don't give him the content. I rather have them, give it to someone from the community that is actually passionate, because
Right.
that kind of shows. Like, for example, when he showed not to take anything away from him, because Jeff Keighley done a lot of great things, but
Hmm.
when he shows the Xbox Series X, he's like, and here's a Xbox Series X, and let's move on to the next thing. And I was like, and isn't this like, this is not like something usual, like showing the console and the game award? That's something that should be huge, and it's the next generation console, and he just played it like it was something insignificant. So I hope they involve creators that are from the Xbox, that cover Xbox and are passionate for Xbox.
Right. I get what you're saying. Kind of go where the fan base is more. Maybe. I,
Yeah.
I see that. I see that. Now, I know that he's big buddies with Kojima.
Oh
you
yeah.
know so maybe with his ties with Kojima, and then Kojima is working on an exclusive Xbox title. Maybe next year, or the year after next, when it's closer to being something he can show, maybe he'll show it on the Keeleys, and then be like, hey,
Yeah.
Kojima-san, you like this a lot, hey? Well, maybe we'll talk about it more if you like it,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Definitely that.
you never know. I never know. So so I guess it's I'll kind of like to ask everybody this too, that I interview. Um as far as games that we know are coming out. So not that any, like, we don't want to give away any things that maybe haven't been announced that you might have heard, because you're in the biz a little bit there, so I understand that. But is there what game coming out in the future, and it can be far off or recent, or currently, or coming out soon, are you most looking forward to?
Games or just one game?
Well, you can have more than one. Everybody seems to want
Okay.
to do more than one, so that's
Okay.
fine. I
It's
won't hold you
hard.
to
It's
just one.
hard. There's
Oh,
so many
of
games.
course. Yeah, you
Okay.
can give me
Well,
games.
next year definitely I do want to play Starfield.
Oh
For
yeah, me too.
Yeah, for those of you that know me,
Hmm.
I'm a huge, well, I kind of was a huge fan of Star Citizen. That was like one of my dream games,
Hmm.
and it got to a point where I was like, okay, this is not coming out ever. But then, then I saw Starfield, and that got my hopes up again, because really like sci-fi. I really like space, and I like Skyrim, of course, and
Hmm.
I like Bethesda. So this is a game that I highly anticipate. So definitely Starfield.
Nice.
Um, Another game that I definitely am waiting for is Perfect Dark.
Hmm.
I'm a huge fan of the N64 Perfect Dark. I
Hmm.
played so much with my brother of that game, and I really love that game. I get into discussion all the time whenever we're talking about Golden Eye or Perfect Dark. I always think for me, Perfect Dark was a better game. But again, personal opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm highly I'm I'm highly anxious about to see what what it's gonna look like eventually. Even though they have had their problems in development, but hopefully, a good game could come out. So
Yeah.
I'll give you those two.
That's cool. That's
Those
I
will be
like it. I
the
like
two
it. That's
games.
definitely some good ones there for sure. So if you don't mind, kind of tell everybody, where they can reach out to you, where they can find you, and when they can see your show, and when people can tune in for that.
Okay, so 2022 we're kind of done, but we're gonna continue on
Yep.
January 2023, and you can find us Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Xbox International Podcast YouTube channel. That's where
Nice.
we're currently at. If you want to reach out to me personally too, you can reach me Twitter, Sourblow18, also on Xbox, Sourblow18, and I think that's it.
That's good.
On-
Well, that's why I reached out to you and I got a hold of you.
yeah,
So
on YouTube, I do have a few kind of like trailers that I put together myself. So
nice.
if there's any fan requests or any like trailers you would like me to try to put together, I will take it, and it's something that I like doing on the side because I do like video editing. So
Nice, very
yeah.
cool. All right, well, I will put that in the description below too. Put that a link to that so people can check out what you've done so far, and hopefully reach out to you. Sour Blow, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate you, and all the success in the world to come to you guys. I like I said, it's a good cast, a good, well-rounded cast of of gamers that really enjoy and are good a part of the community, and don't give up on that Spanish speaking show.
No,
I
no,
think I think that, maybe
yeah.
something, or at least maybe a few specials a year or something like that. I'm really pushing it, aren't I? Sorry.
No, definitely. Yeah, I was even thinking of maybe teaming up with other content creator or finding someone that I can at least help out until like
Yeah,
hopefully in the future I can help more. But yeah, definitely.
that would be great. That would be great. I mean, it's like I said, it's like you were talking about. It's a market for sure, and it's because not everybody speaks English, so that's and if it's a more comfortable language for them, then
Yeah.
you'll get big fans there too. So that's awesome. Sour Blow, thank you so much for being here on the show, and thanks everybody else for tuning in for this episode of Outbreak Gamers.
Game over.